Tinubu, God go punish you, punish your family. Thunder, fire you, fire your useless family, fire your children, make your children die for plane crash. What did they happen, sef? Now season of onion, pepper, tomato, okra. See what the person still they buy for season now, 15 naira. Imagine when you go reach January, February, March. Now be say poor person no go fit afford to buy food for market. What did they happen? Now say make we no talk so na go arrest. Thunder go fire you, Tinubu, na me talk am. Mona go arrest everybody finish. What did they happen? Una won't even sit down for house now say una need every day now is supposed to be protest. How do they understand? What did they happen now, Tinubu? Una go say make una hold una governors. Now governor now increase fuel price. A crime say you lead country. Why be say your own administration now they bring frustration? And when they say make una Thunder go fire Tinubu, God go punish am, go punish your old age, make God cripple am. And when I say mama no talk for what now? Anger dey person body, hungry day. See what person still buy for 15 naira for season of onion. Imagine when onions don't finish now. Wetin happen, Tinubu? Everybody just keep quiet. Make everybody just full street every day. They gonna say area don't hot too much. How about poor person no fit afford food for market? Tinubu, is it a crime for you to lead us? We understand say now buy you buy that seat, but you know buy that seat make you come frustrate us. With your see the anger way dey my body. We no fit buy food again, Tinubu. You craze? Get respect for somebody where they frustrate person. What's happen? Why are you so wicked and gullible?
Greetings, guys. Yeah, so the #1 man in Nigeria, Bola Ahmed Asiwaju Tinubu, have finally addressed the nation on Sunday. Being, I can't remember the date now, but today is the 7th of August, 2024. President Tinubu addressed the nation in a different manner, in an unexpected way. Words that came out from his mouth wasn't what Nigerians were expecting. He did not even address the issue that chased Nigerians to the streets of Nigeria to protest: hunger in the land, inflation of prices in food and materials, insecurity, and lots more. Instead, #1 man was seen telling Nigerians to go back to their various homes, that they should not make the military to destroy life and property. Them themselves, as Nigerians, should not destroy life and property. Blah, 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 blah. Is that what is expected of you, Mr. President? They really talk, say, some people then give them crown, but they don't know how the crown no fits them. The crown no fits them. And be Oga Tinubufied. And so you just dey for that seat as usual. Una know now. It be like say they want to tell another story again. It be like say they want to add another movie again. It be like say they want to do another decision, deceiving again. They want to run another one again. But now only God go judge you now. Now only God go judge you now. Now only God go judge you now. Nigerians are suffering. It be like say they want to add another movie again. It be like say they want to tell another story again. It be like say they want to take another decision again. Now only God go punish you now, Tinubu. It is well. Keep doing your Jagaban style. No wahala.
In the end, I wish he didn't even speak. Because if he didn't speak, it would have been way better than what he had said yesterday. And I think with due respect, it's obvious now this speeches thing do not work. The president, we need a real interview. I don't know if he's done any, you can tell me, you watching. But I think we need real interview where we can really discuss policies and discuss outcomes. because it was just a speech with a lot of rhetoric, no outcomes, and a lot of things that you can easily fact check. Take, for instance,
there are key takeaways in this speech. Number one, the president tried to show empathy, commiserate with people, say they should, call off the strike. Number two, he wants protesters to eschew ethnic bigotry that you have seen at Lagospedia, here in Lagos, where they are saying Igbos should leave Lagos. The president also said those who have been using this for opportunism to heat up the polity will be punished. The law will catch up with them. He outlined various programs that he has done for the youth in the last 1 year. But beyond that, he talked about economic reforms and the gains of his economic reforms, debt service reduction, CNG initiative, opportunities for the manufacturing sector, and all of that. People can argue with that and say, well, they don't believe what he's saying. And then, of course, he asked people to suspend the protests. And he called for dialogue with the youths, that the government is prepared to dialogue with the people. I think at paragraph 31, he said, I have heard you loud and clear, and this is a listening government. We are prepared to listen. Now, in the course of our discussions yesterday, Professor Killer, Anthony Killer, I think tried to explain what a presidential speech should be about and his own assessment. He talked about delivery. He said, with regard to delivery, he didn't think anybody expects that Tinubu is an orator. In terms of, content, he thinks that the speech was well written. Okay? In terms of context, he thought, in fact, what the president did not say is probably more important than what he said. And then, of course, impact. He said in terms of impact, that's for people to determine. And it is in terms of impact that Nigerians have been divided. Some have praised the president, like Festus Keyamo, who says it was a balanced presentation. Well, what do you expect Festus Keyamo to say? But there are people who have also criticized the speech. Omoyele Sowore says it is beautiful nonsense. Professor Wole Soyinka Nobel laureate says that speech should have addressed how Nigerian policemen turned violence into an instrument for state negotiation. And there are many people who hold that view. And he thinks that the president should have condemned the police. And then you have people, other people who say, well, this is beautiful nonsense. I think that's Omoyele Sowore. But on the whole, I think that the biggest concern of Nigerians is that in the whole of our speech, President Tinubu did not respond directly to the demands of the protesters. The protesters had specific demands. Instead, he was listing his achievements and making promises. If I had taken a look at that speech, I did that, approving signing off on presidential speeches for 4 years, I would have constructed it differently. There would have been another day to talk about achievements. He could have appealed to Nigerians. He could even have set up a committee to say we are addressing this demand, that demand. But in any case, the people in Ojota, they called off their strike, and they say that there will be no more protests. Maybe in that regard, there was some impact at Ojota, Lagos.
Maybe it was just because they felt like this isn't even working. The idea of protest, as Malala Yousafzai put it, is that it's the voice of the voiceless. When people, especially citizens, feel like they're not being heard, then they then take the route of protest. As we've often said, not many people would want to take the route of protest, but when people are pushed to the wall and feel like that's the only option left, then they protest. So it then brings the question as to why then was there a massive call for a speech, an address by the president? It wasn't just because we wanted to hear his voice or see his face or check how he's doing. There were reasons for that, because we were like, oh, why should he speak? What is the point of doing that? The idea is that when people come out to protest because they feel that their voices are not being heard, and to get a response from their leader, then it is important that the main thrust of that speech should be to address why he came. So if you're looking at the purpose of a thing, then unfortunately you would then be able to deem that speech as a fail, unfortunately, in terms of F9. By the way, I hear that there's still protests in Ojota, so they haven't completely called off the protest. They had said 10 days, and so this is just day 5, and we'll see just how deep the impact was. Now, going back to my thoughts in terms of the fact that if the purpose of the speech was to address the concerns of the people who felt that their voices were not heard, in fact, you almost think that if their voices were non-existent, if you look at the detail of the speech. Let me say, in terms of how he started very strong, but unfortunately, as he proceeded, he kept falling and falling and falling until the numbers went flat in terms of the grade for that speech. He could have done a lot better. This was the moment to redeem, even though he had missed the chance when he ought to have come out to speak before the protest started. No president wants any life of his citizens lost. Not one. Every single Nigerian life matters. So if a leader can prevent a life from being lost, one life, then he would take all the options available to him. Part of that option was perhaps to come to the people to speak and then open up the channels for dialogue and set timelines and actual milestones as to what he hopes to do in the next few weeks, next few months, to at least even assuage the agitations of the people. I don't think that was clear cut out in that speech, and that's quite unfortunate. I'll take my last point here. We can take a leaf from both Kenya and what's happening in the UK, and I say this with regards to ethnic baiting and bigotry. I thought you could have come out with a harder stance on that. If you listen to the Home Secretary of the United Kingdom, Eva Cooper, she mentioned so many times, we will not take this, we will not protect our people, and there's no room for that. But I mean, there's no time to go on. I wanted to speak a bit more in terms of just breaking it down. The youths want their president to listen to them, not just to speak. And I hope the president will demonstrate that he is a listening president, not just